Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast on one of my games here from the StarCraft 2 beta. We have tech spawning over here on the top left hand corner as the red Terran player. Meanwhile, over here on the bottom right hand corner, or I guess the right hand side, not really the bottom side, just the top right hand corner, I am spawning as the blue Terran player. I did in fact choose random, and this was my first random game where I still got Terran, so I wasn't going to be sure if I wanted to cast this game, but since I'm uploading right now, I cannot really play any games right now, so I'm like, I might as well make a video. So here I am going to go ahead and build the supply depot on my front door. Pretty much a standard opening for me as that Terran player. Meanwhile, my opponent Tech doing the same thing, building the supply depot on his front door as well. A little bit of an idle SCV sitting around waiting to build that refinery. Perhaps could have waited just a little bit longer, so he's going early gas instead of an early barracks. So that SCV now sitting there, going to have to wait a little bit longer. Taking a look at the units, he is in fact going to be a little bit behind in terms of unit count, as he is, and also in terms of mineral count as well. Taking a look at the spending or the income, my income is now at 400 compared to his 350, just because I have an additional additional harvester. And that works. Still an SCV sitting on that front, waiting for that barracks. Tech finally finally building that barracks in this position. Not quite sure why he is delaying his barracks a little bit that much. I can't think of any Terran strategy that really needs that early gas. My gas is finally up and running. He's currently he has 3 SCVs on gas, so he is making sure that he wants to get that gas really early. Perhaps he wants to go for an early Reaper tech or something else. He really wants to. He's already has 64 gas and doesn't even have a tech lab on his barracks yet. Meanwhile, coming back over here, I have a single Marine being produced, Marine going to be trained, and now I'm getting another supply depot as well in order to try to block this front door in this position. A Marine kind of getting in position right here just in case an SCV does try to come up the ramp. I'm able to shoot it down. I build a supply depot here, and I'm just waiting for the minerals. There it goes, and it actually moves that Marine. So I'm going to have to go ahead and move him back in, kind of micro those supply depots just a little bit more. There it goes. And now supply depot coming into play, just trying to finish off this front door as well. A little bit of lag. Tech now getting some Marines on that front door, sitting at 17/19. No orbital command yet. Still trying to produce as many workers. If you take a look at the income, his worker count is now 16 to my 14. But in fact, I do have a mule, so that mule going to help me out tremendously in terms of trying to get more and more minerals. You see that I'm currently harvesting around 600, 650 compared to his 400. So my economy definitely stronger. I will be able to out macro my opponent at this point in the game. Even though I did choose random, I do in fact need to do a little bit of scouting. I want to scout him and figure out what exactly his strategy is going to be. I do go ahead and run into some of those Marines, and since he did not move and attack, my SCV was in fact able to go ahead and head out and do that scouting. Marines now coming back and want to get into my front door. I do in fact have a couple Marauders and a single Marine on this front door, so he will not be able to take it down. My SCV tries to come up. I try to squeeze through here. No real way to squeeze through, and I see in fact that he is going for dual barracks, one with a reactor core. So one reactor core with a dual barracks. I generally don't favor infantry in a Terran versus Terran matchup, but I do like the fact that he has a barracks, so I know I can really try to push in with stronger units. He tries to come up, quickly taking down one of those Marines. That Marine also getting slowed as well, and that Marine being forced to run back. Now gonna go ahead and drop down a reactor and also get a starport. The reason for the reactor is I want to go ahead and try to get some Hellions. Since I did see a double barracks build, I am assuming that, and also a reactor on that first barracks, I'm assuming that the army is going to be very Marine heavy for at least some time in the game. We have a single Marine hiding off in the smoke over here, so hiding in that smoke, able to get a little bit of sight. I think he's able to see over into this position. I'm not quite sure what the sight range on a Marine is. Perhaps he can see if there's an SCV here, or perhaps he can't. should probably check that out. I'm also trying to produce some additional Reapers as well. Reapers are a good counter to Marines as they in fact deal more damage and also have a little bit more hit points. Not by much, but just a little bit. So I'm gonna go for double Reapers. Now lifting off that starport. Gonna go ahead and lift off this factory as well and drop it down and try to produce some medevacs or perhaps even some Vikings. So I'm sitting on 200 gas. Gonna go ahead and I think I tech to Vikings. I'm pretty sure about that. Single Marine now tries to come out. Gonna see a very, very bad day as it gets torched and down it goes. Just a burning Marine is all that is left. Hellions now moving out. Need to be careful with an army of Hellions, Reapers, and Marauders. Those Hellions tend to get in front of the rest of that army, and you really want those the Marauders in the front. The Marauders have more hit points, have better armor, so they're able to tank a little bit more damage. Reapers and Marines. So here's a very, very small army. What, 2-4? Taking a look at the army sizes, I have a 750 food army compared to my opponent's 1050, so he definitely has a stronger army. He has a large collection of Marauders and Marines sitting on that front door, but in fact I am going for those Vikings, so I have 2 Vikings, and now also getting a single siege tank, and want to produce more Vikings. Gonna get that siege tank into this position. Quickly check and make sure that there are in fact no expansions, and if you did have an expansion, I would either try to take it down or push into that main base, because I know I would have a larger army. But I did in fact scan this front door and see that he does have a very, very large army here. Gonna go ahead and try to move around a little bit, and this is gonna be a very, very bad fight, so I will go ahead and back out. He's sitting on I'm sitting now on a 1400 army, but a lot of that army is sitting over here with these Vikings. So, and I'm also producing 2 more Vikings. Gonna go ahead and hide in the smoke, try to figure out, and now just try to get some toasting into here, try to kill some of those units using that smoke to try to get some cover, and I'm able to escape. Those Hellions now trying to push in, and now he has me a little bit on the run. I'm gonna take this time, use these 4 Vikings, and I'm hoping that he was gonna try to chase me a little bit more. But I'm gonna say, okay, you know what? He probably has these supply depots up. I can probably go ahead and just harass with these Vikings. So I'm gonna go ahead and move in with these 4 Vikings and try to take down as much from this mineral line as I possibly can. See that there are in fact no turrets. Gonna go ahead and quickly go into that assault mode and now start just shooting down these SCVs. So SCV units, or the Harvester, the income now, his Harvester is down to 1621 and taking a lot of those units, trying to move those SCVs away now and able to take down a lot of those SCVs. So one SCV is now trying to take down that orbital command, more units now trying to come in, Marines trying to come back up, quickly going into that flight mode and moving back away. Marines trying to chase, unable to catch up with those Vikings. So me getting a very, very definite advantage there as I take out a lot of his Harvesters. He's down to 11 Harvesters compared to my 21. I do in fact have siege tanks. I am getting siege tech, or already have siege tech as well. Also getting a medevac and getting built as well. But I do need some more supply. Moving out with these Vikings, and I realize that he's probably going to keep some units on that backside as he does not want to be harassed by more Vikings. So I'm going to be able to force him to split up his army even more. Vikings now coming up over here, trying to make sure once again that there are no additional units. One of the things I'm curious about was if you go ahead and take a look at my site right there, Vikings cannot see past vents even though they're in the air. So I was surprised. I was thinking that since Vikings are above are an air unit, they should be able to see the vents, but that is actually not the case. You still need something on that other side. So I have 2 siege tanks sitting in this position ready to blast any of these units. So I want to be able to push back out just a little bit and try to use this fog to the best of my ability. Have a fair number of units on this army. Taking a look at the army size, it's 2150 compared to 2125. So the armies are fairly even. I'm trying to figure out if he's really going to push back out. Getting that 3rd siege tank, and that medevac. The medevac going to be important in terms of healing my units. Marine quickly pops out, able to start shooting out a little bit more, and those Marauders taking a lot of those damage. Vikings now coming into that assault mode in order to try to take down the rest of these units, and because Tech tried to take a Terran position when I was fully set up, Tech loses the majority of his units. Now a single Marauder trying to take down the siege tank, but that's not going to really work out well for him. I'm going to go ahead and try to move back in. He does in fact have a single Viking up in the air. I'm going to try to move my medevac a little bit away, but I microwaved just a little bit late, and he also had a unit in him, so a little bit of a misplay there. I think that was a siege tank, or perhaps something else. Vikings now going back into that assault mode and now going to destroy the rest of this Terran facility. So a little bit of a misplay coming in from Tech. Tech trying to mass up a fairly large enough army to fight back, but still not working out. Losing that single Reaper, but now the rest of the Reapers really just pushing out, taking down the rest of this fight here. Hellion getting taken down by these Vikings. Vikings dealing 14 damage and no armor, attacking fairly quickly. So, and Tech says GG. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this replay, and thanks. I hope to see you guys on Battle.net once StarCraft 2 is finally released, or if you guys get into the beta.